G'day and welcome to another video. This is my multi-purpose truck. I'm just kind of showing you that the front with multiple bearings has a bit of extra flexibility in it for bending down there. So when we're mining, the drill stays in contact with the rock for a lot longer, and it means that you can actually chomp into the stone a lot faster. So you can see just there in that brief moment we've got a lot of stone already broken up. With an electric drill it is actually quite slow. The only reason why it's actually running as fast as it is the bearings are being stacked. So what that means is you put 4 or 5 bearings in a row with a block in between. Just got to deal with this guy before he smashes my truck. And it's yeah, it's a way to get extra speed, but use the what the electric motor is good for is it won't stall. So in the heavy rock, when you're doing work like I am doing right now, the actual drill itself won't stall. I've got 4-wheel drive on this vehicle, so I'll just slowly back away with my rear tyres, and then I'll push in here and see if we can get this to pop out as well. Should go now. There you go. So nice, fairly quick. We're into this node pretty aggressively, and I've only been going for like under a minute. So yeah, when you're mining, one of the most important things is not necessarily the speed. Everyone talks about the speed, but it's the fact that that drill does not get stalled. Like if you use a low-powered gas engine, it'll spin fast but also jam quickly as well. I'm just using the 4-wheel drive again to get into this one. See how quickly we can destroy the middle of it using that, using the fact that it is actually a electric motor, and the fact that we're getting a little bit of flex in the bearings, which gives us that little bit of more time on stone, if that makes sense to you. It's all about how long you can keep your drill bit in contact with the stone. Sometimes you have problems with the hitboxes. Like just then I'm sort of giving up on that little spot for the moment. I'll just try and get somewhere else. Don't pursue you know, a spot over and over again. If you're having trouble breaking it, come back to it later. You're wasting your time. You know, you can just get in and get somewhere else quite quickly. So yeah, so a few big other features of this vehicle. If you notice, I've got a red bar down the bottom between the back resource containers. That's an axle with 2 bearings in it, and those bearings are attached to a plain motor. I'll just show you that, what that looks like. I'll switch to my tool. So for the electric motor up the front, they're all connected to the same motor. So the first bearing, next bearing, next bearing, next bearing are all attached to the same motor. That's attached to a switch, which is switch 1 on my seat. And here, these 2 bearings here in the back, which control this red axle, are connected to a gas engine with no gas. It's not doing anything, but what it does is creates this limit of power of torque, which stops it from spinning around on its own. So what that allows me to do is have a lot more control. You can see here that the vehicle's twisted up, so it's actually twisted up there. So that flexibility of the vehicle means it's got more traction, because the front wheels move with the vehicle itself, with all the actual weight of the main containers and the engines and the batteries and all that sort of stuff is all and the drill bit is all on the front part of the vehicle, and then the axles at the back pivot, and that allows us to get a lot more grip and control. You can see here I'm quite happily moving back and forth. Wheels aren't getting too jammed up. You know, for me this is quite easy to control the vehicle. It's pretty much going where I want. I'm not getting caught up too badly. Bit of precision there for drilling in under the stone. So it's a very flexible vehicle. I don't ever try and drill right down to the nodes, so to the resource rods, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. See that one? I don't normally bother going down to those rods, because I can do that with my hammer, 2 swings, 3 swings, and it's all done. So mainly it's about getting the big rocks out of the way. And you can see here this massive node. I'm going to have to come back for a second shot with the amount of resource in this node. Hasn't taken me too long. I'm paying more attention to talking than what I am for drilling. So you can see that flexibility of that the drill bit with the extra bearings and the extra length out away from the vehicle. It's not just one suspension piece. It's actually, you know, a fair way forward of my car. So you can see there I'm right underneath the rock, and so I'll get this first one forward. So it gives me more options for drilling. You know, there I can see my headlights underneath that, so I may not be able to get it. Let's see if we can get in there. There you go, just broke that back one. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to clean up this node a little bit by hand. It's gone dark anyway, so it's not a very good video. Yeah, thanks for my ramblings. I'll get in, clean this up by hammer, and see you guys in a little while. As the sun rises on a new day, got my cows for company. I've been drilling into the side of this hill. Since the last video, I actually haven't moved my vehicle at all. I've just gone through and broken down the resources to the rods, and I haven't actually moved my vehicle a single bit at all. So I just wanted to show the drill configuration that we have. So we've got a normal suspension, so that gives us the 3 blocks travels. This is pipe with a bearing, pipe, bearing on the end, and bearing on the timber block. I kept the timber block there just for to go more with the vehicle. And if you haven't seen one of my other previous posts about this vehicle, it actually has, I've got all these white marking spots all over my vehicle, and it's where I line up the resource containers when I take them off. And I've really got some pretty wild lag going at the bottom, but here's that axle thing we've got across the back. So the red axle is flat to the ground, so the rear tyres are on the ground and the front tyres are on the ground because of that axle configuration. So the reason for that I've got the white posts is I can get these resource containers, flip them around, and they're ready to go in the right spot where I want them. So you know, this one's one down, so I can move it, you know, one block up however I want. But I've got that configured nice and easy, and there's no other spot for that container to sit. It's wrapped on the axle that's against that post, so its center line of mass is lined up with the tire for the rear ones. And these containers have a little bit of movement. I can bring them forward or back. You can see this one is forward in relation to the other one, so there is actually one block movement on the post. Flip it the way I want, and there we go, now it's lined up. So fairly easy there. And the electric motor, yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vehicle on a lift and move it so I can drill this post here. This is where we had the vehicle right underneath, drilling out all that stone. Because it's got such a long reach, we're able to get in under, you know, two blocks worth of stone. So yeah, I'm just going to grab it, work out which way it's facing, flip it around the right way, put it sort of close to where we want, not too close because we need to drive. I want to drive it in. I don't want to just drop it in the right spot. The reason for that is then we can have a little bit of control of accuracy as well. So drill on, get in there, get into that corner piece. Because it's such a steep hill, we're getting a little bit of problems with connection. Oh, and I've just run out of battery, which is what the chest in the back's for. Grab a battery, top it back up, ready to go again. So, and now you can see, because I'm fussing around this one piece, the time it's taken me to do that, I could have been drilling into something else. So let's get into this one. Nope. And sometimes you drill grabs, sometimes it doesn't. It's one of those. I'm just finishing off mining out this node. You can see I got a fair bit of resources floating around. I've got the last few pieces to chop out, but the 2 forward resource containers are full. I'm not sure if you've seen it or seen it before. You actually have the option of E for picking up scrap stone. So if I just go E and then left click, E, click, E, click, I can take a lot of resources out of here really fast. Fill up that back one, you know, no problem at all. It's almost full. There, it's just full now. And then I can do the same on this one. I want to top up that one. E, click, E, click, E, click. It's fairly quick, it doesn't take too long to do it. And now I'm back up to my first one. So now when I'm back in the driver's seat, I can see the 2 side ones a lot easier, and I know where I'm up to in how much I can pick up. So you can see there from the top-down view, it's easy to see how full they are. So if I drill now this last part, I might be able to get it on the first go. Yeah, before, when we were having a lot of trouble getting the drill to stick, I actually found I just switched the game on and off, like exit scrap mechanic, restarted it, and then the drill grabbed really good straight away. You know, I didn't have any problems with missing the nodes or any of that sort of stuff. So yeah, so this one that's right under us, this is going to give us a little bit of trouble from a grip point of view, getting a bit stuck there. I'll grab this last one so they're out in the open. Yeah, so I'm just going to get ready to run this back to my home base. I don't think I've done any road trips or anything similar on this particular world. I've restarted to sort of, I've done a little bit of scrap mechanic with my own modified game files. So this is my first true 4.7 experience with scrap mechanic. So I'll show you just where I am. I'm right behind my own fruit shop. We'll just go for a quick drag down the road. So this vehicle is generally pretty stable, except for when you're carrying loose stone. We're just going to get on with getting there. So this is my utility vehicle. It's got pretty good stability. I'm almost running flat out at the moment. It's just a very basic trim to square up the vehicle. A little bit of hopping and skipping there, but nowhere near as bad as some vehicles I've seen with scrap mechanic. Oh, I'll let that rollover happen. I just realised I've got this drill running too. All those things you forget about while you're making videos. These guys. I've found I've lost more resource containers to dope bots than I have to the, like, even to the farm bots. Yeah, so in this particular playthrough, for me, I've probably lost 5 or 6 containers worth of materials to robot attack. So yeah, I just find it annoying. Mining away quite happily, you know, gathering resources, logging trees, all that sort of stuff. It just gets a bit ridiculous. I kind of like where I park myself at the moment. It is on a headland, very cliche for scrap mechanic. I have tried all different other ones, and places in here. Looks like I've got a raid run. Just a simple, it's been knocked together vehicle. It actually has quite a lot of geometry going for it. So as an example, the crates are less than 8 blocks apart from front to back. So what that enables us to do is pick it up and put it in exactly the right spot for the resources to be taken out of it. Lift is a wonderful tool. You know, from a Puritan point of view, I should have a gate and drive my vehicle through and park it on its whatever, or make a massive resource processing truck all at once. I find them cumbersome and slow and annoying. So if I put my truck there, use my lift, I can actually suck it down over the top of the refiner, and it's able to process all of the material on the truck. See, it was processing the back ones. You can see where the opening for the front of the truck is here. Sorry, front of the resource thing is here. So as long as the container is equal or one block in front of the refiner, it'll take the stones out. So these two will be refined quite happily. And then the distance from the refiner to these needs to be within 8 blocks forward of the front and less than 8 blocks from the corner. So if you do an 8 block diagonal, you need to make sure your resource container is inside that line. So this will process my entire vehicle in one go. And then now that I'm home, I've got to wait for my resources to get processed. Had fun mining it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, actually while I'm here, I'll just show real quick my gun. So if anyone's played with the logic timers, you can see it's a timing pulse. So the timer's on a 300 millisecond delay, and then I've just got two logic gates. That one's an AND, that one's an OR. The reason why this one is an OR is it takes input from this one or the button. So if you log out of the game, sometimes the timers will stop. So you need an input pulse to start it. Now this one is an AND gate, and it's connected to this blinking one at the same time. So in order for it to actually work, the switch needs to be fired at the same time. So when we switch the switch on, it's now pulsing. Now that pulse is what's connected to the gun. So the logic was from that top one down through the timer, and it does a loop. So that's why it pulses. And the button is to put a pulse in to start it if the system's not running. And then that switch, sorry, get everything out of the way. The switch switches the pulse on and off. And then the sentry gun, the mounted spud cannon over there, I'll just highlight it for you so we can see it. Just up in there. So it's connected to the ammo container and that top piece of logic in that corner. So it needs the AND. So the switch and the pulse makes it equals to a shot. So then that is then linked to the seat. So if we sit in our seat, we can hit our button 1 and our gun will fire the spuds. So it will strafe along the front of the fence. I've actually got it set. Make sure you set it to 3 blocks up and 4 blocks out. And that should be able to shoot everything, no worries, even with a little bit of drop. Yeah, so on some raids, it can be quite a busy time. Yeah, thanks for watching this particular video.